today we only opened 2 trades today. One in IWM, one in SMH. We'll walk through each one of those in just a second. Yesterday we did a good number of trades. So if we go back to yesterday's, you can see we had 5 opening trades. So you can definitely check out those trades in the video that I posted yesterday. But for today, just the 2. Starting in the morning, I actually placed these relatively at a similar time, but it took a little bit of time to get the IWM trade completed. So in SMH, let's talk SMH here. So here I placed an iron fly, and that's when you sell 2 at the money options, 1 call, 1 put, and you buy protection on either side of the wings there. The reason why I went for the iron fly is that if we go to my portfolio tab here, you can see, let's make sure it's showing nicely. Yep. So this is my overall portfolio. I've got a really nice profit window, pretty broad base of profitability, and that's due to those, those delta neutral trades that I've been placing. So let's go to my SMH position here. Going into the day, I had this position on, and this is just a very simple iron condor, which was, if I can read off here, it was about $5 wide from each strike here. And the position has started to move on me, which is totally expected. Nothing to panic about there. But what I like to do with defined risk trades, instead of trying to chase the markets and trading, doing this over trading, moving around too often with it, it's good to ladder into positions. So I only had used up $500 of capital requirement on this trade. We can go over here and look at this guy. Let's open him up. Give me a second. Let me expand my window here. Here we go. So in SMH, leading up to this trade, we only had used about $500, $600 of capital requirement at that time. So I had room in my portfolio to add another trade in. So instead of trying to adjust the trade I had, I went ahead and just tagged on a new trade. And what's nice about this now is that it's starting to form kind of like a bell curve. If you look at this blue curve up here, my position around SMH is starting to kind of be similar to it. And that's just the combination of that flat center with the sloping on the outside combined with the sharp peak and that steep drop off. And if you take those two together, bada bing, bada boom, you have this. And over time, as time passes, that will start to be even smoother of a curve and kind of create a nice range of profitability for that position. So that was a pretty easy trade that brought me up to about $1,500 invested in SMH. That's going to be the most that I want to have in one position at one time with this current size account. I'm in the process of getting more funds to be sent into the account, but as of this moment, that is perfectly fine for me. So you can see here I'm up about $27 for the day. It's kind of moving rather rapidly at this point. Let me hide my profit loss chart, and we'll just take a look at the overall positions here. So really the only thing that's notable is a pretty big pullback in EEM. So if I pull that guy back out, let me take this off, put EEM on. I was getting tested yesterday with EEM, but if you see here, it dropped almost a percentage point today. And so that brings me right back out of the money, in that range where I want it to be. And so with that one move, I got $16 up today, and I'm up to 13.2% of my max profit potential, which means I'm getting relatively close to where I want to pull it off at that 50% mark. It's marching its way up there. Everything else is kind of a non-discussion point. It's just we're early in the expiration cycle, so I'm going to let time work its magic here. The other trade I opened today was an IWM, and I haven't placed my exit trade yet, so let's go ahead and do that now. So this was I think this was $10 wide, $5 wide, a $5 wide iron condor, centered it around where the stock price was at the time, and on this one I was targeting right around that 20% chance of being in the money, so 80% chance of being out of the money on each side here, which gives me a good about 65% probability of profit. Let's go ahead and just show you that. If I go to my activity page and duplicate this order, you can see the stats here. Looks like the market's just closed, but you can see I've got about a 60% probability of profit right off the bat, but then that probability 50% is really where the money comes in, where I've got over 80% chance of achieving that about $105, $106 profit target for this trade. So that's what I'll be targeting on this one. Should be a good trade. $5 wide is really about the minimum width that management begins to make sense. And we'll cover that as we go through, especially if this position does get tested and I get the opportunity to manage it. But the narrower your legs are, if this were, let's just say $3 wide or $2 wide or $1 wide, it becomes much more difficult to roll for credit and roll up and out and all the things that we do here at Option Engineer. So those are the new trades of the day. Let me see if there's anything else to cover real quickly. What's nice about the overall strategy here, because I have a mixture of defined risk and undefined risk, I'm able to put on a good number of positions without overburdening my portfolio. So if we go up here, I think you can see I'm getting closer to 50% invested here. So I've got a net lick value of $21,400, and I'm using I have $12,600 of buying power left. So I'm not quite halfway there, but I'm approaching it. And what's nice about this is that as I put on more positions, you can see it's rounding out and it's kind of smoothing out that curve. And just because it's easy to manage it visually, I can pretty easily know what positions I need to put on next. Here I can see I have a negative 38 delta. So that's not incredibly low. I like to keep it, that's probably about the point where I might consider putting on a bearish trade or adjusting one of my positions to bring my deltas down. But we'll talk about that when the time comes. Overall, though, the portfolio is doing what I want it to do. And if we look here, click on that little arrow, it kind of gives you some overall portfolio stats. And you can see that I've got an 89% probability of profit with all my positions that are on kind of in aggregate. And last stat I'd like to look at is to see my theta. The overall portfolio theta is right around $36. So that means that I should be expecting, all else equal, to receive $36 in premium day over day as a portfolio matures and as we move closer to expiration. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and click the little bell to be notified when I make my next video and send it out to you. But even better than that is if you want to have access to me live as I'm recording this and sharing my portfolio and the ups and downs of my options trading journey, go ahead and head on over to optionengineer.com/group and sign up right there to have instant access to my private Facebook group. It's awesome. There's so many great members growing every single day to become better, more profitable, more exciting options traders. So thank you guys so much for checking it out, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.